Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. What the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter. Treachery and violence are spears pointed at both ends. They wound those who resort to them worse than their enemies. I ask not for any crown, but that which all may win, nor try to conquer any world except the one within. Wisdom is the reward for surviving our own stupidity. I do maintain that if your hair is wrong, your entire life is wrong. Face reality as it is, not as it was, or as you wish it to be. By what men think, we create the world around us, daily new. If you think life is magical or life is hard, either way you are right. Your thoughts are the source of reality. Successful people have libraries. The rest have big screen TVs. There is but one true philosophical problem, and that is suicide. Do things for people not because of who they are or what they do in return, but because of who you are. But to believe that getting stuff is the purpose and aim of life is madness. You have to be transparent so you no longer cast a shadow, but instead let the light pass through you. Oh, don't cry. I'm so sorry I cheated so much, but that's the way things are. In order that all men may be taught to speak truth, it is necessary that all likewise should learn to hear it. Do not fear the thorns in your path, for they draw only corrupt blood. It is not by believing, but by doubting that one can attain to the truth, which is ever-changing form and condition. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for. And the truth must finally lie in that which every oppressed individual feels within himself, but hasn't the courage to express. Cherish those who seek the truth, but beware of those who find it. Conformity teaches us the value of our precious worth. After everything has been said and done, all you have is your story. Make sure it's worth telling. Sometimes what seems like a destination is actually a bridge to a new chapter. The pure present is an ungraspable advance of the past devouring the future. In truth, all sensation is already memory. Because sometimes people who seem good end up being not as good as you might have hoped. A whetstone, though it cannot cut, may sharpen a knife that will. Don't step backward toward nothing, step forward toward something. Better awkward steps forward than coward steps backward. There is nothing in this world so hard to get at as truth, and there is nothing in this world but truth that I care for. The wise are not wise because they make no mistakes. They are wise because they correct their mistakes as soon as they recognize them. The right thing to do and the hard thing to do are usually the same. Other people are only aspects of our own greater being. Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart. I'm killing time while I wait for life to shower me with meaning and happiness. Some battles don't have a winner. Sometimes the best a good general can hope for is a ceasefire. No one is less than. No one is more. We are all exactly the same at the core. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Never curse a fall. The ground is where humility lives. It's the people who never learn the word impossible who make history, because they're the ones who keep trying. What others think about you is none of your business. Differences are not intended to separate, to alienate. We are different precisely in order to realize our need of one another. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. When you know what you want, and you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it. If you cannot find an element of humor in something, you're not taking it seriously enough. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death. Contentment is natural wealth. Luxury is artificial poverty. We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be. A loving soul was always more beautiful over the long haul, but actual prettiness was fleeting. Time has always been the greatest ally to truth, because time eventually relieves and reveals all. The moment you recognize what is beautiful in this world, you stop being a slave. And education is not so much about making a living as making a person. Fear can only grow in darkness. Once you face fear with light, you win. Whenever something bad happens, keep calm, take a few deep breaths, and shift the focus to something positive. When it rains, it pours. Maybe the art of life is to convert tough times to great experiences. We can choose to hate the rain or dance in it. Don't let the fear of losing them keep you from loving them. Of course, there is no formula for success, except perhaps an unconditional acceptance of life and what it brings. My motto is that you can't always control what happens to you in life, but you can control your reaction. Damn right I like the life I live because I went from negative to positive. Owning land is like owning the ocean or the air. No one owns land. It isn't where you came from. It's where you're going that counts. Believe in sudden shifts in life. You never know what is coming for you. Youth cannot know how age thinks and feels, but old men are guilty if they forget what it was to be young. Listen to me, Thorfinn. You have no enemies. No one has any enemies. There is no one that you should hurt. Integrity is a powerful force, keeping you alive to others long after you've left their presence. There's a world of difference between truth and facts. Facts can obscure truth. It's not always what we don't know that gets in our way. Sometimes it's what we think we know that keeps us from learning. Committing your goals to paper increases the likelihood of your achieving them by 1,000%. It takes no more time to see the good side of life than to see the bad. The world should have been in Technicolor, but seemed more like black and white. If you can't change your fate, change your attitude. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can always choose how you respond to it. To ugly ducklings everywhere, don't worry about those fluffy yellow morons. They'll never get to be swans. The danger today isn't believing there are no sick people. There is only a sick society. Always try to be joyful and proactively benign to the people. By doing so every day, people have no control at all over my mood. Life is funny. Things change, people change, but you will always be you. So stay true to yourself and never sacrifice who you are for anyone. There is nothing more frightful than ignorance in action. I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains. You can take my life, but you'll never break me. So bring me your worst, and I will definitely give you mine. The trouble with fiction, said John Rivers, is that it makes too much sense. Reality never makes sense. There is no wealth like knowledge, no poverty like ignorance. One swallows the lie that flatters, but sips the bitter truth drop by drop. Follow your heart, listen to your inner voice, stop caring what others think. Nothing is too late, till the tired heart shall cease to palpitate. Truth has a resonance to it that fills the cracks where falsehoods lie. Opening up to the wrong person is like putting ammo in their hands. Success will be within your reach only when you start reaching out for it. Life is like yoga. The only way you can enjoy it is by relaxing into any position you happen to find yourself in. The storm stops at the door. Love reigns, peace dwells. Every story I create, creates me. I write to create myself. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. If you would not be forgotten, as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. For truth is always strange, stranger than fiction. You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me. No one else has ever opened doors for me. I opened them myself. An over-examination of life can deter you from life itself. Time puts everything in its proper place, and whatever is misplaced is already on the way to where it belongs. Autobiography begins with a sense of being alone. It is an orphan form. To live greatly, we must develop the capacity to face trouble with courage, disappointment with cheerfulness, and triumph with humility. Everyone is trying to impress everyone else, trying to make themselves out to be smarter or more confident than they actually are.